Okay, in the previous chapter, we learned about the leaf creation and created the leaf actually and browsed a lot of the settings that belong to the leaves in a SpeedTree. And now we're going to do the same thing and create the second leaf cutout in here. So again, for creating a mesh, a cutout mesh, you go in here as well. And just like the material tab, you can add new in here. And let's call this variation. Now we can hit edit mesh. And then for the material, we can select it from here and bring the leaves material that we have. So in this case, we're going to do this. And you see that this one is upside down of this one. And it doesn't matter. We can really fix it using this anchor point. And if you remember, we placed the anchor point just like this one. But for this one, we're going to place the anchor point in here and reverse this one the other way, so that the mesh points this way, and it's going to be no problem for the mesh. So let's again do something like this and try to add some more geometry in here so that the folds and all of the deformations that we added are going to be no problem to create. Okay, this one is all right. For the low poly, let's assign it here, and then let's fix it some more to create more beautiful variations. And as always, let's mask here so that no geometry gets created there. And for here as well, let's mask this part out. And I'm going to remove this vertex, and to better show the image, I'm going to expand this to here and bring this one to here, and as always, do something like this and remove this part. Let me mask this area out and this one as well. And we need to manipulate this vertex, bring it here, and we're done with the medium as well. And one thing else that we can do is masking this part out and creating some more vertices in here and some in here, and masking this part out as well. Okay, now I'm really happy with the high poly as well, and let's assign it here, and we created another set of mesh as well that we can use later on to add more variation into this. So we have now a couple of meshes, one the leaves cut out too, and one the variation, and this one is empty. So we can go in here and select this and remove it so that we are left with these two, and that unnecessary one got deleted. So let's spawn leaves, and for creating the leaves, we're going to select the last level branches in here and these twigs and hit add and batch leaves. And as you know, we are going to use batch leaves because it's more fluffy and puffy, and it's better for performance as well. So let's go to collision. And one thing that I do when creating the leaves is turning off the collision. And sometimes when the leaves get together so much, it's going to delete them. But setting the collision to nothing, it's going to retain those extra leaves and make this one better. And again, when we created these leaves, we duplicate them around and fill this area. And one thing that I'm going to do is using the node editor in here, and when I'm looking at this part is empty for now. And I'm going to take this because I'm really happy with the trunk that we have created here, but there's something that we can improve, and it's going to the node and selecting this one and rotate it so that when we look at it from here as well, we have something to look at. And it's going to be better for viewing purposes. And we have the cone shape going on here. So let's go to batch leaves, and the most useful nodes for creating the leaves are the phyllotaxy and interval. And you see right away when I'm starting to use interval, it gets more puffier. And if you look at the references, you see that there's a lot of puffiness going on in here, and we're going to do that right away. And you see in this real images that they are really puffy. So let's select this and go to the skin tab, and for the material we're going to use the leaves one, and now we need to assign the mesh for it as well. So let's go for leaf cutout, and for better let's use from here. Take this handle and drag them on this part, and it's no problem, it has the wrong material. Let's select this, go to skin tab and choose the right material. Now it's using this mesh which you map to the first one, and this is the variation. Let's drag it onto here, and again just let's change the material to this. Okay, let's try to fill the area with the leaves. So let's go to the generation, and the mode is set to interval, and it's great, and we need a lot of more frequency. So let's try to add more, and for the count as well I'm going to increase it, and we're getting some shape going on in here. And I don't want them to be all the way to the end, creating something like this which is really ugly to look at. So for the last, let's go and put something like 0.9 or 0.7, and this has helped with the generation as well. And now let's go to skin tab and do some changes in here. And most of the time the primary change that I do is using the fold, curl and twist to vary these just a little bit. So let's use the fold a bit, curl just a bit, and a bit of twist, and also the variance value to give them a little bit more variation. And the key is to create a great randomness so that it looks natural. So let's look at it from far away, and it's creating a good shape. And when we try to connect these leaves, to other branches as well, it becomes a lot better. So let's go to the big branches, which are these ones. Let's go for count, and instead of 5 let's make it 6 instead, and this is going to be a lot better, and the tree looks more puffy than what it was before. And since we are not really caring about the polygon and the amount of polygon that it creates, it's not really a big problem. So let's go for leaves, and this is good to know that if you want to get the fullness and puffiness out of the leaves, you can manipulate the branches as well as the leaves to get what you want. And there's nothing more to do on the skin tab, and let's go for orientation. And this is the key for creating a good pine tree, because most of the pine tree leaves are facing towards the sky, and you can see that right here. You see the leaves are all pointing to the sky, and even it's the prominent effect in here. You see all of the leaves are pointing to the sky, and even in these paintings right here. So we're going to create that effect. And to use that, we're going to use the sky influence and make it something like this so that the leaves are pointing to the sky. And the next option that you can do is making them align to give them a bit of rotation. And for the face, because they are pointing the way that I want, I'm not really going to change them because now they're pointing downwards, which is not really realistic. So let's make it 0, and for these ones I'm only going to add just a bit of variance so that not all of the leaves are pointing to the same direction, but I only want to give some more variation. And the next one, I'm going to do some final adjustments to make them face towards the sky even more. So let's do some up, and this is absolutely what we are seeing in the reference images, and some right as well. And let's see about this one, and this one in negative. So this looks like about it. And now that we have created the leaves, I can select this, copy and paste it, and assign it to these leaves as well. And because these branches are different than these ones, they're getting spawned right on there as well. So let's see about these ones as well. Let me select this and spawn them on here to get that fullness that happens on the tip of the pine trees as well. And let's hit O to compute the ambient occlusion, and it's doing a great job. And now I'm only looking at the shape of the leaves and what they are doing to see what I need to manipulate to get these better. And I'm going to create some opposite branches opposed to these ones as well. So let's select these and create another set of small branches that point down somehow. So let's create another set, select this and add branches. Let's see what the little branches does. And this is good, but we need to apply more gravity to it. So let's select them and try to give it a bit of gravity that points down and a bit of noise as well. And again, using this and another layer of little branches. And of course, we need to go to the spine and bring the size down just a bit. Select it to see the proportion and the size. And now let's select this and attach it to these extra branches that we created. And we need to change the sky rotation because I really do not want them to rotate to the sky. And for the align, I'm going to make them point down. Something like this. Or even better, between these two, let's bring this one here. And after this one, I'm going to create some twigs. And these twigs are just like the small branches and add another layer of branches that these leaves can attach to. So let's go out, and this is good. And now let's bring these over and copy and paste these leaves again and connect them to here as well. So you see that it adds another layer of fullness to the tree, connecting the leaves to the second and third layer of branches. So for now, I'm happy with the tree that we have created, and now let's add some forces to even make this one better. So let's go for the first one, and I'm adding the direction, and the direction is going to point down. So let's select these leaves, and I'm going to the force tab and activate the direction. So let's make them go the other way because I want them to be flat. And this is going to be good. And to make this even better, let's create another set of branches that have no leaves attached to them, just like these ones. Okay, let's select this big branch and apply another layer of big branches. And this is being chaotic, so I need to make the size a bit smaller. And take these, I'm going to copy the whole thing that we have created here and attach them to those set of big branches. Let me connect these to this one. And now we have a small set of empty branches that give this a bit of shape. And we need to apply the gravity to them as well. So let's go for the spine and shape gravity so that they are pointing downwards to add that fullness in the tree. Okay, I'm happy with this tree that we have created, and now it's time about adding the wind system to the tree. And to create a wind, you go to Tools and Wind Wizard. And in here, there are some presets that help you set up your wind animation. So for the tree, we're going to select tall pine tree. And there's a preset in here. You can select from them. For example, if there's calm or if there's a storm or anything, we're using calm. And for these batch leaves that we created, we need to specify what they are, if they are fruit or if they are needles or anything. So these are needles, and we need to hit OK so that the leaf goes on. And now this fan indicator is using this menu in here to control the strength of the wind. So now you see that there's a calm animation going on here, and the animation has been applied to the trunk, to the branches, and to the leaves as well. And if you want to make it really stronger, you take this slider, bring it up, so that this slider goes up and down. This is going to be always oscillating between the min and max value that you set. And now you see the animation is a lot stronger because of this value that we have set here. And if you bring this down really much, it's going to make it really stronger. And this oscillator is going to be what goes between min and max to create the animation for you. So I feel like these big branches need to change their start angle to make them more like the pine tree that we expected. Something like this. Okay, let's bring this even down. And now it's becoming a lot better for my taste. We have branches that are pointing down and branches that are pointing up. And in the middle, it's good as well. So now that we have created the pine tree, we can do something. In this properties menu, there's this randomize button. And if you hit it, it's going to use the procedural systems that you have created to create infinite variations out of this single tree. And it's always too good to save a version from your tree and randomize it to get better variations as well. So I'm going to save this one and check this out. And you see, every time that I set here, I'm going to get different variations of the pine tree based on the procedural effects that I have set there. And it's always going to be good to look at how this randomization works. And every time you hit, you're going to get a new variation. Okay, this was about the pine tree, and we learned a lot of the things you creating this tree. And to create the ambient occlusion, again, hit O, and it's going to assign the ambient occlusion for you as well. So in the next lesson and in the next sets of lessons, we're going to create different things as well. And the things that are not tree, for example, bush and grass. So see you in those lessons as well.